So I'd like you to go to chapter 9, and open the Retail Preview Sample Workbook. What we're talking about in chapter 9, as you guys know, is we're talking about business intelligence systems, okay, and specifically applications of business intelligence. So we are saying there are many ways we can analyze data. We talked about sorting it, formatting it, calculating it, organizing it, grouping it, all those good things. And we specifically talked about one type of analysis that we can do with operational data. Is we can take our customers and we can rank them on 3 categories. How recently they purchased, that's the R in RFM analysis, how frequently they purchased, and how much money they spent. Okay, so, and we can do that ranking in a lot of different ways. I think the example your book uses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do it a little bit differently, but we have some sales, some transaction data here. So a couple things. Let's bring this up and let's work on the F first. Okay, so let's work on the frequency. Let's rank these things by frequency first. So I think the best way to do this is by using a pivot table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all my data, A through H. I'm going to go up here to Insert, and I'm going to go to Pivot Table. And I'm going to click OK. And what we want to come out of here with is, hey, every customer and the number of transactions that they have executed. So I'm going to drag customer ID to the rows, and I'm going to drag customer ID to the values. Okay, so drag it to the rows and to the values, and what it does for me is it tells me, hey, this customer 1,309.75 had 3 transactions. And this customer had 41, this customer had 2, this customer had 12. Okay, so now I have every customer and the number of transactions that they've executed. But that's not exactly what I want. Okay, so that's the base for my F, but it's not quite my F yet. So what I'd like to do, let's copy this pivot table. So I'm going to highlight this pivot table. And I don't really need the grand total, just the data itself. And I'm going to hit the plus, and that's going to give me a brand new worksheet. And I'm going to paste, but I'm going to paste not the pivot table, because then it's still in pivot table format. I'm going to paste the values. Okay, so now I just have the values. So here's my customer number and the count. Okay, so we have that data. It's just now data. It's not a pivot table. I still don't have it ranked, right? F, I don't have it ranked 1 through 5 or 1 through 3. So I want to sort this. I'm going to highlight all the data. I'm going to go to Data. I'm going to go to Sort. And I'm going to sort by the count of customer ID. And I want largest to smallest. Okay, so I want the most transactions first, the fewest last. So count of customer ID, click OK. And we see the winner, the person with the most, is customer number 100868533. So I'm going to create a column called frequency, and this is my rating. And I could do a percentile thing, but just to keep it simple, let's say, I don't know, anything with, let's say anyone with 6 or more transactions gets a 1. So I'm going to put a 1 here, and I'll drag that 1 down. So all the guys with 6 or more transactions get a 1. Center that. Oops, center that. Let's say everyone with 5 to 3 transaction gets a 2. So I'm going to, drag that down. And then anyone with 2 or 1 transactions gets a 3. So those are, now I have all the customers, and I've assigned them a rank, basically an ordinal, for the frequency of transactions. So I'm going to call this tab, if you will. This is sheet 2 right now, which is a kind of a bad name. Let's rename it as frequency, because that's what it represents. Okay, so you guys with me? So we got the F taken care of. We have every customer ranked by frequency. I'm going to do M next, okay? And it's going to be very similar, right? This is the amount of money that they have spent with us. So let's go back to the transactions, the original data, our demographic or operational data. And I'm going to highlight everything. Probably is still highlighted. I'm going to go to Insert, Pivot Table, click OK. And this time I'm going to drag Customer ID to the rows. Whoops. And I'm going to drag Item Amount to the values. Okay, so by dragging to rows, it grouped all the customer IDs together. And it did count of item, but I don't really want count of item. I want the total amount spent. So what should I change count of item to? I'm going to change it to sum of the amount. So if I click on this drop down, go to Value Field Settings, go to Sum, click OK. Okay, now we have this data by every customer and how much money the customer spent. I'm going to copy this data once again, okay, into a place where I can work with it. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to create a brand new tab. I'm going to paste it over there, and I'm going to paste it as values. So we have customer in column A and how much money they spent in column B. What do I want to do next? I want to put it in order, right? Descending order. So I'm going to highlight A through B. I'm going to say Insert. I'm going to go to Data. I'm going to go to Sort. And I'm going to sort by item amount. I'm going to do largest to smallest. Okay, largest to smallest. I'm going to click OK. And now I have by every customer, I have the sum that they have produced. So we need to rank them. So let's call this column money. Let's say if they spent over $200, they get a 1. So we'll do the 1s down to 216. They spent between $100 and $200, they get a 2. So we'll drag that down. And anyone that spent less than $100 gets a 3. And drag that down. So at this point, we have everyone ranked by frequency and also by the amount of money they spent. So we have 2 of the subsets completed. We have the F and the M completed. Okay, so let's rename that sheet. And let's call it money, because that's what it is. Okay, so we have the F and the M taken care of, the frequency and the money taken care of. The one I saved for last because it's probably the most difficult one to do is the recency. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, let's go to the transactions worksheet. And we do this often in Excel. We want to make a copy of this worksheet because I'm going to edit it, but I want the original to stay the original. So a couple ways I can do that. I can right-click on that tab, go to Move or Copy, and check Create a Copy. And it will create a Transactions To for me. The other way I could do that, I'm going to delete that so you guys can see the other way. If I go to, whoops. If I go to, it's going to stop recording here. If I go to, where's transactions? So if I get back to transactions, if I'm on transactions, I hold down the Control key. You see how it turns into, and I'm left clicking now and holding down. See how it turns into a plus? So what it's done is created a copy of that, and then when it turns into a green arrow, see it says, do you want to put it right beside there? I can drop, and it creates a copy. So instead of doing it, with several clicks, I can do it with a couple presses. So anyways, however you do it, you need to get a copy of the transactions database. Okay, so what do we want to do for recency? How do we want to rank these for recency? Give me a start. What do you think I should do to rank these for recency? What should I do? Who goes first? We want the newest transactions first, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to highlight all my data, and I'm going to go to Data, and I'm going to go to Sort, and I'm going to sort by customer ID. So that'll put all the customers together. And then I'm going to add a level, and I'm going to sort by timestamp. And I'm going to do newest to oldest. So what this will do is it'll sort all the customer transactions together, and then within the customer transactions, it's going to put their newest one first. So I click OK, and you'll see that's what it's done. Here is the transactions for, let's look at 8865. Their newest one is 7/10/2013, but they have transactions all the way back to 2001. Okay. But which of these transactions matter for the ranking process? So for 8865, I have, looks like about 9 transactions. But I only really care about which one of those 9 transactions when I want to rank them. Yes, most recent one, it's first one, right? Because that's its most recent transaction. So I need to get rid of all of these. Okay, all of these, all the other 8, right? Okay, one of the ways we can do this, and I know this isn't really intuitive, and I really didn't talk about this, but if we highlight the data, and under data, there is something called remove duplicates. I would like you to go to remove duplicates, and I want you to remove duplicates by customer ID. So uncheck everything but customer ID. What this is going to do is it's going to say, okay, we have, 8 or 9 transactions for 8865. I'm going to keep the first one, which is the most recent one, the one I want to keep, and it's going to remove the duplicates for the next 7 or 8. So now I click OK, and it says 146 duplicates found and removed. We have 30 unique values remain. So for that 8865 we were focusing on, you notice it kept the most recent one, or July 10th, 2013. Okay, July 10th, 2013. So let's call this one, well, we don't really care about this, so I'm going to delete these fields. I'm going to delete these fields. I don't really care about these. Let's insert, let's do this. So we still need to sort
this so we can rank them. And I'm going to sort by timestamp, newest to oldest. So now we have the newest transaction, July 10th. The oldest ones are in 2001. Let's use this methodology. Anyone that is had a transaction in 2013 gets a 1. Okay, I just copy that. Anyone in 2002, their most recent transaction, gets a 2, and anyone in 2001 gets a 3. Okay, we would do a different ranking process, but you know, in the interest of simplicity, let's just do it this way. Okay, so now we have, and we'll call this tab recency. So now in here we have a money tab. We have I know they're not all together, but we have a frequency tab. And we have a recency tab. And we have them all ranked. What happened to my data there? Didn't I rank them? Let's put in recency again. And I have everything ranked 1s, 2s, and 3s by those 3 things: recency, frequency, money. But what I really want is for every account, I'm going to say, okay, this is account 101, and their RFM score is 111. This account is 202, and our RFM score is 323. Because I want to look at those things in concert, right, together. That kind of shows me a picture of where this customer is at. So I have them now, but I have them all in disparate spreadsheets. How do I bring them together? Any ideas? There's an easy way. Well, there's a couple different ways. But how can we bring them all together? What do you recommend? What can we do to bring them together? What is the identifier for each of those ranks? What is the unique thing for each of those ranks? Very good. So how do you think we should bring them together, Aaron? Thank you for answering. Okay. Let's do this, okay? Let's take recency first, yes? And let's take it, and you said customer ID is the thing that makes it, you know, the thing that we can match them on, right? So let's put it, these all should have 30 customers in it, right? Because we ranked each customer. So let's take this recency tab and let's sort it by customer ID. And let's do smallest to largest. So at the top I should have 975. At the bottom I should have, looks like 3709. So I'm going to take this data and I'm going to copy it to a brand new worksheet. Okay, and it should have, okay, customer ID, the timestamp, and the recency code. Okay, but I want to put the F beside it, right? I want to put the frequency beside it. So I'm going to copy it over here, but before I copy the F over here, doesn't sound right, but before I copy the F, the frequency over here, what should I do so that they match up? What should I do to this tab, Aaron? Very good. So I should sort this one by that customer ID as well. So go to Data, go to Sort, sort it by that customer, and let's do smallest to largest. Uh-oh. What did I sort by? Maybe I sorted by the wrong thing. Oh, I want to sort by customer number, that's why. Customer number, yes, so 30975 is at the top. So now I'm going to copy this, which is the frequency, over to, whoops, over to the tab where I'm building it. And look, it does match up, like 1030975 the whole way down to 3709, right? So I'm trying to put this stuff together, right? I still need the last one. The last one, and I'm going to rename this tab RFM because it's going to have all three in it. The last one is money. So as Aaron told me, I need to sort this by customer. And I'm going to do smallest to largest as well. So I have my 975 at top. So let's take this now, this data that's sorted appropriately, copy it, go to my RFM tab, and paste it over. And it looks like it matches, 975 the whole way down to 709. What's that? Well, because these are unique IDs, right? And every one of them had 30. And if I sorted them in order, everyone's in the same order. So when I copy them over, they're going to match one for one because all three tabs were sorted in customer order.
They're all sorted correctly. What's the point of keeping customer on 3 separate places?
We're not going to, right? So I just wanted to make sure they all matched up. So what do I really care for now in this tab? What do I want to get rid of, Aaron? You're right. What should I get rid of?
I'll get rid of the customer.
I'll leave it once, right? Let's leave it one time.
Yeah, I guess the second 2 customer numbers.
Yeah, we don't need timestamp.
You don't really need
We don't need that customer number. We don't need that. All we really want is this, right? We want the customer number, the RFM. So now, you guys did a nice job analyzing these when we looked at the slide. Now we have a picture of 30975. They've ordered from us recently, right? They spend a lot of money with us, but not as frequently as some others, yes? So they're in the middle. If we look at, 0396, haven't bought from us from a long time, never spent a lot of money, didn't buy from us frequently, right? If I look at, customer 8865, hey, they're a good customer. They spent a lot of money recently, buy from us frequently. So now, we can start making some decisions on this data. What was the other way I could tie those things together? I don't know, someone maybe they had my Excel class. We use customer ID as the key. It's another way we can kind of go over here and look up something. Remember that? We have that. Is that in my Excel class here?
We use a lot of Excel.
You guys know what a VLOOKUP is?
Yes.
Yeah. We could have used a VLOOKUP. A VLOOKUP says, hey, look up this in this table using this key. So we could have brought it all together using a VLOOKUP. All right, but that's probably a little advanced for what we're trying to do right now. So, and I know this was kind of a lot, right? Because truthfully, knowing what skills we have, this is the kind of way we had to do it. Malik? I don't think we ever did.
Yeah, I used it on my computer class.
Okay.
I used VLOOKUP.
You've used, I don't think we did this.
I used it on my computer class.
All VLOOKUP does, we'll do one, what the heck. So let's do, let's do recency, okay? So let's bring over recency again, all right? We'll show you how you do that. So I'm going to say in here, let's go to column E, and we'll do VLOOKUP. And you give it a key, like a key that you look up, like a unique value, which typically is like something like customer number, customer ID. So the key that I'm going to look up is A2, right? That's where my customer ID is, comma. Now I need to give it a table I want it to look in, right? Like where do you want me to look? Well, I want it to look in, let's just say, recency. And I'm going to highlight B2 down through D31 in the recency worksheet tab. And that's what it's saying. It says, all right, the table is, go to the recency tab, look from B2 to D31, and then it says, what value do you want me to return from that lookup? Well, there's column 1, column 2, and column 3. Which column do we want it to return? Column 3, right? We want the third value. So I'm going to put in here 3, in parentheses, hit enter. And what it did, it returned a 1, so it went over here and found, 30975 and returned that 1. If I want to do that for everything, well, the A2 needs to change. When I copy it down, I need to change the B2. What needs to stay constant? What needs to stay constant? That table doesn't change. So how do I make that absolute? Yeah, it needs those dollar signs. You remember that? So if I take that B2 D31, F4 that thing, F4 makes it absolute. And now it just went into that table and looked up all those values. So that's the way we could have merged everything together instead of, and that's probably the better way to do it, because if things change, it automatically goes up, looks up and pulls. But I didn't really want to get into that. Okay, so a couple things. There is an assignment out here. Called Report Tools and OLAP Cube with Pivot Tables. And I would like to review this one. Okay. So here's what I'd like you to do. There is a data file. It's called sales January 2009 data.org. That's the file I want you to use. I want you to make a copy of that worksheet and rename it to question 1. Well, let's see if we can do some of this right now. So I'm going to open that up. Try to open up. You guys able to open it up? Oh, I am. Get it now? No, Willie? You got it? All right, so let's see what the assignment says. It says, hey, make a copy of the sales January 2009 worksheet and then rename that copy to question 1. So I showed you 2 ways to copy a worksheet. What is one of the ways to copy that worksheet? We could right-click on it and say, make a copy, or hold down the Control key, left-click, drag, and then drop it right next to there. Okay, now it says, now we have a copy of sales January 2009 2, but I want to call it something different. So I'm going to right-click on that worksheet tab, go up to rename, I'm going to call it question 1. Okay, let's see what it asked me to do with question 1. Sort question 1 with a 3-tier sort. Country at the top level, state at the next level, and last name at the last level. All should be in ascending order. So let's do that. I'm going to highlight all my data. I'm going to go to Data, sort, and I forget what it said, once it, country, state, and last name. So I'm going to sort first by country, add a level, then by state, add a level, then by name. And all in ascending order, so A to Z order. I click OK, and it's sorted by country first, Buenos Aires, Argentina, by state, and then within that by last name. Okay. So question 1 is done. It says make a copy of it again and call it question 2. So we just did that, so let's do it again. So I'm going to take sales January 2009 again. I'm going to, left click, turn in the plus, drop it right after question 1, and rename that to question 2. Okay, what's it want us to do with question 2? Make a table. Choose whatever table style you deem appropriate. Filter the table to show only transactions done in Quebec, which is in the state field. So I don't know if I even showed you this. How do we make a table? We should know this from Excel, actually, from stats. We're going to highlight all the data. This is on question 2. Oh, lots of data. Go to Insert, and insert a table. So it designs, it says my table has headers, yes, we're all good there. It makes it a table for us. And under table tools, there's all kind of styles we could choose. So I don't know, I think I said choose whatever style you like. I'm going to choose that one. And it wants to filter for Quebec. So how do we filter Quebec? Use the drop down. Where do we say that was in the state field, right? And a lot of states here. Q. There is my Quebec. So we did sorting, we did formatting so far. It says make a copy of the sales January 2000 and then rename it question 3. Once we get to question 3, make a pivot table question 3, rename the pivot table worksheet question 3 PT, put channel on the rows, payment type on the columns, and put price in the data values, and change the price field setting to average. Okay, so let us do that. So I'm going to take sales January 2009, make a copy of it, rename that to question 3. Highlight the data in question 3. Do insert, pivot table. Click OK. It will build me a new tab. This is the pivot table tab. It tells me it wants channel on the rows and payment type on the columns. So let's take channel, drag it to the rows, payment type to the columns, and it wants price in the values, but it doesn't want it to say count. said I wanted it to be average. So change count of price via value field settings to average. While we're at that, we might as well make it look like money because it is money. So number format, change it to currency. And we should have that pivot table. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Something's dying with my computer here.